Okay, so now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So today we have to continue talking about the 14 ways of training minds and about psychic power. So these topics will be very messy, also very many things to explain. Anyway, so when we can understand these trainings, we can also know the profundity of Buddha's teaching. Okay, now we will start with very simple steps in the very beginning. We call Kasina Nuloma, very beginning. That means in the forward order of Kasinas. For example, in the Ardh Kasina, we have 8 attainments. So we can enter into 8 attainments of Ardh Kasina. Then similarly, Water Kasina, Fire Kasina, Wind Kasina. Then there will be 4 color Kasinas. The first one is Black Kasina, Yellow Kasina, Red Kasina, and White Kasina. So these are the aura of 8 Kasinas. So we have to emphasize, focusing on the Kasinas. That means we must understand the Kasina object clearly. This is the first part we have to understand. Then 2, Kasina Patiloma, and the reverse order of Kasina. So we have to change the order of the Kasina. For example, White Kasina, Red Kasina, Yellow Kasina, Black Kasina, Wind Kasina, Fire Kasina, Water Kasina, and Earth Kasina. So reverse order. In each Kasina, we have to enter into 8 attainments. This is the second practice. Now we have the third one. Kasina Nuloma Patiloma. We have to combine previous 2 ways of practice. We have to enter into every single Kasinas orderly in reverse order. So in each Kasina, we must enter into 8 attainments. We have to follow the order of Kasinas and the reverse order of Kasinas. So the third one is the combinations of the first 2. Then 4, Jhana Nuloma. In the forward order of 8 jhanas. So here in this time, we have to emphasize on the jhana. Jhana must be clear. So, okay, we have to enter into 8 attainments in every single Kasinas. Emphasize on the jhana. So this is very common practice. So everybody can understand this kind of entering. It's not much problem. Okay, number 5. This is the Jhana Patiloma in the reverse order of 8 jhanas. So here in this case, it will be a little bit different from all our practice before. So we have to start from nether perception, non-perception jhana. After that, we have nothingness jhana. And we have to continue boundless consciousness, boundless space, 4th jhana, and the third jhana, the second jhana, and the first jhana of Ardh Kasina. So we can follow the order of Kasinas in this case, but we must emphasize on jhana. So every time we have to start from the number 8, neither perception, no perception in every single kasina. That's why I use here the English words emphasize in jhana. Okay, now 6. Jhana nuloma patiloma. In the forward and reverse order of 8 jhanas. For example, in the alt kasina, we have to enter orderly 1 to 8, the reverse order 8 to 1. So this is also combinations of previous 2, orderly and reverse order. So if we are skillful in these 2, we can also move to number 7. It's more difficult than previous 6. We call Janukandika, skipping jhanas. But in the art kasina, we have to follow a given order. For example, the first jhana and the third jhana, also the boundless space jhana, also nothingness jhana. After that, the next order, we must follow the second jhana, then the fourth jhana. After that, boundless consciousness, and either perception or non-perception. And the next order, the third jhana, also we have boundless space, then nothingness jhana, and the first jhana. Then fourth jhana, after that, boundless consciousness, neither perception or non-perception, and second jhana. Then boundless space jhana. After that, we have to continue nothingness jhana, then the first jhana and the third jhana of akasina. Similarly, we can also try 6, 8, 2, 4. Right? 6 refer to boundless consciousness. 8 refer to neither perception nor no perception. 2 is a second jhana, 4 is the fourth jhana. Similarly, 7, 1, 3, 5. So yeah, in this case, 7 refer to nothingness jhana, 1 is the first jhana, 3 is the third jhana, the 5 is boundless space jhana. Similarly, 8, 2, 4, 6. 8 means neither perception, no perception, and then second jhana, fourth jhana, boundless consciousness. So we have to enter every single kasina like this. Here I just give only the alt kasina, right? Alt kasina. So 1, 3, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 5, 7, 1, 4, 6, 8, 2, 5, 7, 1, 3, 6, 8, 2, 4, 7, 1, 3, 5, 8, 2, 4, 5. These are the order of entering, skipping one jhana. In every single kasina is like that. It will take longer time than before. If we are not very skillful in our previous steps, especially like orderly reverse order, right? Especially about jhana, we cannot do this practice easily. Though we have to use 8. This is also skipping kasinas. Actually, not that easy to enter all the jhana also. Okay, here I just give the order or the practice, right? Okay, for example, we may have alt kasina, after that, fire kasina, black kasina, red kasina in the first row. So we have to enter the first jhana in the first row, right? Alt kasina, first jhana, fire kasina, first jhana, black kasina, red kasina, in every single kasina, first jhana. Similarly, water kasina, wind kasina, yellow kasina, white kasina in the second row. Every single kasina enter first jhana. And the third row, fire kasina, black kasina, red kasina, earth kasina. In each kasina, first jhana. Similarly, row number 4, Ven 𝐸𝐬𝐻, yellow 𝐸𝐻, white 𝐸𝐻, water 𝐸𝐻. Rule number 5, black 𝐸𝐻, red 𝐸𝐻, earth 𝐸𝐻, fire 𝐸𝐻. Rule 6, yellow 𝐸𝐻, white 𝐸𝐻, water 𝐸𝐻, wind 𝐸𝐻. Rule number 7, red 𝐸𝐻, earth 𝐸𝐻, fire 𝐸𝐻, black 𝐸𝐻. Also, rule number 8, white 𝐸𝐻, water 𝐸𝐻, wind 𝐸𝐻, yellow 𝐸𝐻. So skipping 𝐸𝐻s, and each 𝐸𝐻 first jhana. Then similarly, in every single 𝐸𝐻, the same rule, the same order, second jhana in every single 𝐸𝐻s, the third jhana, the fourth jhana, all up to 8 attainments. We can try to enter all these jhana. So it will take longer time to digest all these practices. The most difficult one will come as number 9. It's the most difficult. Jhana 𝐸𝐻 nukantika. Skipping jhana and 𝐸𝐻s. So you can imagine combinations of previous two. Really very difficult. Very messy. So we must have extra a lot about jhana and 𝐸𝐻s in this practice. Okay, now we have to give the order here. 𝐸𝐻 to fire 𝐸𝐻, you know already. This is the order is earth, water, fire. After that, order wind, right? 𝐸𝐻, water 𝐸𝐻, fire 𝐻𝐻, and wind 𝐻𝐻. But here we just change the order. Earth, fire, black, red, water, wind, yellow, white. Skipping 𝐸𝐻. So not, here we have to combine two together, 𝐸𝐻 and jhana. For example, earth 𝐸𝐻, first jhana, fire 𝐻𝐻, the second jhana, the third jhana, black 𝐻𝐻, space, boundless space jhana, red 𝐻𝐻, nothingness jhana, water 𝐻𝐻, the first jhana, wind 𝐻𝐻, the third jhana, yellow 𝐻𝐻, boundless space jhana, white 𝐻𝐻, nothingness jhana. Then similarly in the second column, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. That means earth 𝐸𝐻, second jhana, fire 𝐻𝐻, fourth jhana, black 𝐻𝐻, boundless consciousness jhana, red 𝐻𝐻, neither perception, no non-perception jhana, water 𝐻𝐻, second jhana, wind 𝐻𝐻, fourth jhana, yellow 𝐻𝐻, boundless consciousness jhana, white 𝐻𝐻, neither perception, no non-perception jhana. In the third column, 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 1. You can also understand the same order. 3 means the jhana, 5, boundless space, 7, nothingness jhana, 1 is the first jhana, 3 the third jhana, 5, boundless space, 7, nothingness jhana, 1 is first jhana. So that means in 𝐸𝐻, third jhana, fire 𝐻𝐻, and the boundless space jhana, black 𝐻𝐻, the nothingness jhana, red 𝐻𝐻, first jhana, the water 𝐻𝐻, the third jhana, wind 𝐻𝐻, boundless space jhana, then yellow 𝐻𝐻, nothingness jhana, white 𝐻𝐻, first jhana. So similarly, you can also understand the fourth row, the fifth row, the sixth row, seventh row, the fourth column, the fifth column, the sixth column, seventh column, eighth column. The combinations of jhana and 𝐸𝐻s. This is only one chapter. This is only one part. Not yet finished. We have another. We have another part. Second part of this one. Okay, sure. Okay, now this one. Okay, so here I just list out only 𝐸𝐻. Because the jhana we say as before. For example, water 𝐸𝐻, first jhana. Wind 𝐸𝐻, second jhana. Yellow 𝐸𝐻, the boundless space. Then white 𝐸𝐻, nothingness jhana. After that, we have like fire 𝐻𝐻, the first jhana, black 𝐻𝐻, the third jhana, red 𝐻𝐻, boundless space, of the kasina, nothingness jhana. The same column, water, wind, yellow, white, fire, black, red, earth, right? The same color. For we start with the second jhana, for example, the second jhana. So water kasina, second jhana, wind kasina, the fourth jhana, yellow kasina, boundless consciousness, white kasina, neither perception nor non-perception. The fire kasina, the second jhana, black kasina, the fourth jhana, red kasina, boundless consciousness, and earth kasina, neither perception nor non-perception. It will start from the third jhana. So water kasina, the third jhana, wind kasina, boundless space, yellow kasina, nothingness jhana, white kasina, the first jhana. Then fire kasina, the third jhana, black kasina, boundless space, red kasina, nothingness, earth kasina, the first jhana. It will start from the fourth jhana, right? So we can also skip the same. So fifth jhana, sixth jhana. So we can do the same order as mentioned previous table. So okay, similarly in the second column, fire, black, red, earth, wind, yellow, white, water, right? It should be many steps. Actually, you know, if I say all the things, it will take very long time. That's why I will skip. Okay, so you have to remember, we have already talked about the order of jhana in previous table. These are the order of kasinas. So just trying to match two tables, trying to understand. Okay, so this part is the most difficult part among the 14 ways. It will take very long times to practice or to be successful in this part. That's why it will take them. You have to understand a little bit more, right? But you have to digest later because it was too messy. This part is the most difficult part, the more messy. After that, not that much difficult. Okay. So we can continue the next 1, 10, Anga Sankantika, the transitions of fetters. So this one is not that messy as previous number 9, previous one. Actually, the 7, 8, 9 are very difficult to practice. Then 10, Anga Sankantika, transition of fetters, not that difficult. Enter every jhanas and emerge from it, then descend jhana fetters. Do the same for all the jhanas in every kasinas. So although we are practicing in the masteries, actually we have already trained entering jhanas and descending jhana fetters. Especially we should talk about avajana vasibhava, right? Advanced masteries. So now we can do the same, not much difference. So we can follow the order of kasinas and jhana. So for example, in our kasina 1 to 8, we can enter orderly. In every single jhana, just emerge from it, descend jhana fetters. It's not that difficult. 11, Aramana Sankantika, transitions of objects. So enter the first jhana in every kasinas. So this is the order of, we have to follow the order of practice. Right? So, for example, earth kasina, first jhana, similarly, water kasina, first jhana. Every single kasina just enter into the first jhana. This is called transitions of, right? The transitions of objects. So similarly, second jhana in every kasinas, that jhana in every kasinas up to 8 attainment. Okay, it's not that difficult to understand. Okay, 12, Aramana Sankantika, Engaramana Sankantika, combinations of previous 2. Jhana fetter, and the objects. So here in this case, we have to follow different orders. For example, 𝐴𝐷 first jhana, Water second jhana, Fire third jhana, Ven fourth jhana, Bala five the boundless space, Yellow boundless consciousness, Red nothingness jhana, White neither perception, non-perception. So we have to enter in this order. After that, we have to discern jhana fetters in every single jhanas. For example, 𝐴𝐷 first jhana, after that, discern jhana fetters. Also, Water second jhana, discern jhana fetters. Then similarly, Fire third jhana, discern jhana fetters. Ven fourth jhana, discern jhana fetters. Bala boundless space, discern jhana fetters. Yellow boundless consciousness, discern jhana fetters. Red nothingness jhana, discern jhana fetters. White neither perception nor non-perception, discern jhana fetters. So, similarly, we also have to know the second jhana, 𝐴𝐷, discern jhana fetter, and so forth. So we have already mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the top in the first row, 1 to 8. So according to this order, for example, if we talk about 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, something like that, just changing the order. Now we have to discern kasina. We have to match this kasina and the jhana or the discern jhana fetters. These are called Engaramana Sankantika. So this one is a little bit messy, right? We have to treat it very, very messy. Anyway, this is also a good sign. Okay, so now we have to move to 13. Angavavatapana, definitions of fetters. Imagine from every jhana, this jhana has 5 jhana fetters. To the second jhana, etc., in the same manner. This one is not that difficult. Actually, 13 and 14 are not that difficult. Only the 9 and 12 has very difficulty to practice. So here, we can say, for example, 𝐴𝐷, discern on the end of the first jhana. Imagine from that, we can also discern. Okay, we can also define, right? Or this jhana has 5 jhana fetters. In the second jhana, the jhana has 3 jhana fetters. And the third jhana, the jhana has 2 jhana fetters. Also, the fourth jhana, this jhana has 2 jhana fetters. All the immaterial jhana also has 2 jhana fetters. So we can discern all the jhana fetters. Then 14, Aramana Vavatapana, definitions of objects. Imagine from every jhana, confirm this jhana take 𝐴𝐷 as object. So this is very simple, right? For example, we will say the first jhana in the Purification, then we will say, oh, this is it, they will take 𝐴𝐷, second jhana will take 𝐴𝐷, then the third jhana take 𝐴𝐷, right? Fourth jhana will take 𝐴𝐷, the fifth jhana, Akasa Ninja Yarana, will take boundless space, then the sixth jhana will take boundless consciousness, then the seventh jhana will take nothingness, the absence of the boundless space. Also, the last one, 8, will take the calmness or peacefulness of nothingness jhana. So we have to confirm the object of jhanas in every single kasinas, in every single attainment. So the 13 and 14 are not that difficult. So these are 14 ways of training minds. So if we can train ourselves, or if we can train our minds in these 14 ways, then we may have calmness of the mind. Then we have the next part. Okay, the next slide. So there are 10 objects of sacred powers, karma objects. I think you can know karma object. Karma means essential objects, right? For example, like we may have, okay, for example, like we may have the reading other people's minds. It can be essential objects, right? Essential sphere of consciousness. 2, Mahakata, it also can be Mahakata. Mahakata objects. Mahakata means jhana objects. Jhana consciousness as objects. Then 3, Apamana. Hey, Apamana also can be considered as a both path and fruition knowledge. This is Apamana Ramana, right? So 4, this is Mecca, this very clear, taken path, knowledge as objects. Then 5th, Atita, past object. For example, recognition of the past. It will be past objects. Then 6, Anagata. Anagata means future. For example, when we talk about Anagatansa Jnana, knowing the future, it can be Anagatansa Jnana, it can be future objects. Pachupana. For example, reading other people's mind, it also can be Pachupana, present objects. So it also, it depends on the conditions. It can be many different things, okay? So Achata, internal. It also can be internal objects. So there are many different types of psychic power. It depends on how we do, right? There can be internal objects. So, okay. When we talk about Yathakamubhaka, right? Yathakamubhaka. So it also can be Yathakamubhaka means this a kind of the divine eyes. We just know the death moments, or maybe like death and rebirth of living beings. It also can be our own. It also can be external one. Okay? So, and now you finish. Okay. Then beta ramana external objects. Beta visisa panyati. So sometimes it can be external, but not like ultimate reality, right? It can be, for example, like a name or lineage or many other things, especially in the recollection of past lives, past existences. We can also know beta objects, right? Okay, anyway, these are the object of psychic powers. So different psychic power may have different objects. So, but if we summarize, there can be only 10, okay? So we can proceed to the next one. So 8 qualities of the mind. So we also have to know this 8 quality according to the Buddha teaching. Actually, in many practice or many different parts of suttas, the Buddha mentioned these 8 qualities. Especially when we study Samanyapala Sutta, the Buddha will talk about psychic powers. They also mention about these 8 qualities. Not only that, so when we talk about the Asavakaya Jnana, about insight knowledges, we can also find the same qualities of the mind. So after training 14 ways, we may have very strong and pure minds. That's why here we talk about 8 qualities of the mind. So these 8 qualities of mind will be achieved after training 14 ways. So what about insight knowledge? It also can be the foundations of Vipassana. That's why it can be 4th jhana as a foundation. Okay, now we will introduce Parisuddha. Okay, now I should say the Pali word first, right? When we study Sutta, we can find so even Smahide, Chide, Parisuddhe, Priyodhate, Anangate, Vikatubekilese, Mudu Bude, Kamaniye, Chide, Ananjapate. We have all this quality. Buddha lists all these 8 quality one by one. So it's very common in Buddha's teaching. So now we should talk about one by one. We should explain one by one. Purisutta. The mind is beautified by overcoming hindrances. So, for example, the fourth jhana. Right? So it can also beautify hindrances. Even the first jhana also can beautify hindrances. Then, not only that, it also can purify our mind by asset concentration. But here in this case, we are going to talk about psychic power. That's why the mind is purified by 40 ways of training minds. Also overcome hindrances. Then 2, Brihotata. The mind becomes bright or brilliant by overcoming thoughts and so forth. So here I mentioned like there's somebody mentioned here, right? Like a newly, like a very flexible goal, right? Like very pure goal. Like this is like a very bright. So the mind will become very bright. Then we also have like anangana, unblemished, owing to the absence of pleasure and displeasure produced by craving, hatred, evil desire. Here when we talk about anangana, we just say very simple thing, unblemished. So here I also mentioned the absence of pleasure and displeasure produced by craving and hatred. The main thing is, when we have a lobha, we have a pleasure and happiness. When we have a hatred, we have displeasure and unhappiness. So we have already eradicated or overcome hindrances. That's why the mind is unblemished. But in the sense of anangana, you just have to remember one of the sutta, Anangana Sutta, from Anguttara Nikaya. So that means who does not want other people to know his faults? This is the one thing. Now, who does not want other people to ask his faults in public? Who wants to be a leader? And who expects gains and honors will feel displeasure for not obtaining what he wants. So here briefly we can understand he don't wish other people know. He does not wish other people know his faults. This is Maya. He's trying to conceal his mistakes. The another one said he does not wish other people to ask his fault in public. This is only concealing Maya. So he will reveal non-existent quality. This is called satya. So he may be proud of his ability. Right? Then he may expect gain, honor. So then he will be proud of his ability. Oh, I'm this kind of qualified people. They should offer me. They should respect me. Then he may expect that kind of things. Not obtaining, there will be unpleasant minds. This is also called angana. So if our mind is free from all these things, our mind is anangana. Our mind is sincere, flexible, free from pleasant or unpleasant, free from displeasure or pleasure. No attachment, no hatred, no evil desire, no mana, no concealing. We can say sincerity. This is the call, anangana. Another one is vikatupa kilesa. The next part, vikatupa kilesa, rid of defilements. So here, when we talk about kilesa, that means it will make mind impure, or it will make mind heaty. That's what you call upakilesa. So the mind is free from defiance. This is called wicked upekkilesa. Then 5, Mutu Buddha, malleability by mastering jhanas and so forth. So that means it depends on the masteries for the basic practitioners. For psychic power, it can be 14 ways of training minds. Because of masteries or because of practicing 14 ways of training minds, it might be malleable, right? This is called Mutu Buddha. Kamaniya, wideness, or flexibility to practice psychic power or inside knowledge. We can also understand another way, minds are ready to practice. This is also one of the quality. Sometimes our minds are not ready to accept or to start meditating or to start practicing. Then we cannot be successful. So here our mind is flexible, also wideness, ready to practice. Then 7, Theta, steady. So that means this is well concentrated, nice and steady. Then we have synonym 8, Anantapada, imperturbability, supported by faith and so forth. So that means supported by confidence and all other controlling faculties. The mind is unshakable. We can also say like unshakable, right? Unperturbable, unshakable, unshaken by any object. So these are the 8 qualities we must have before start practicing psychic power or insight knowledge, vipassana. So when we have all these 8 qualities, then we can proceed the psychic power. Okay, the next one. So these are the okay. Then the 10 kinds of 𝐸𝐃. So here we have to introduce a few things about 𝐸𝐃. 𝐸𝐃 means being successful, or completing, or achieving. So then we must complete practice, we must achieve higher knowledge. This is called 𝐸𝐃. So we may have many different types of 𝐸𝐃, many different types of power. Okay, here we should introduce one by one. Adhitthana, success by resolves, then determination. So what is it really called determination? Actually, we can study that one in Itividha Abhiññana, psychic power. So, for example, in the case of Venerable Julapantaka, actually, he had attained psychic power together with Bodhisattva, the analytical knowledges. Then he determined to multiply his body. And in thousands of bodies by determination. So that means if we can determine to become many bodies, if we can multiply our bodies, this means adhitthana. So we can also see many other cases determined by many other, for example, the Buddha also determined to be 2 Buddhas when he delivered Vidhamma in Devarams. One Buddha asked question, another Buddha asked another Buddha the answer. That means if we can multiply many bodies, if we can create many bodies, many people, this is called adhitthana. Vikopaniti. Vikopaniti is success by transformation. So in this case, that means he will not be in his original lifestyles. For example, Venerable Devadatta. When he approached Ajatasattu, he transformed his body into a young man. Not his original appearance, his other appearance already. So as he determined, he can change his appearance. This is called success as transformation. Not only that, actually, in the story, you can also find, like for example, in ordinations, right? In Mahabharata, we can also talk about like in Naga. He came and approached the bhikkhu in the guise of a young man. He requests for ordination. We had this kind of event happen at the time of the Buddha. So the main thing is, if somebody can transform their body to another appearance, we can say this is it, Vikupana iti. 3. Manomayeti. Success as mind-made body. Actually, this one is also a branch of Ejivita. A branch of Ejivita Abhinyana. So they may create another person inside the body. For example, like we don't know who do this one. Anyway, for example, like one bhikkhu, he has the second power. He will create new person inside his body. Second person inside his body. New image, right? This is called Manomayeti. Then 4, Jnana Vipariti. Success by intervention of knowledge. So in this case, it depends on the knowledge, especially in the future, they may attain part of future knowledge. This is called Jnana Vipariti. For example, you may know Venerable Bhakula. When he was a little boy, he was swallowed by a big fish. So a group of fishermen caught the fish, and also when he saw, when they open, that they can find a young boy, right? Now one of the rich family trying to adopt him. So he was supported by 2 families. His previous family also trying to wish to get him. The new family, his adopted parents also left him too much. He was supported by 2 families. That's why he's called Bhakula. So he has very strong parami. He will attain hardship in the future. That's why he cannot die. This is the call, Jnana Vipariti. Then similar case also happened. For example, Samrita Sankija. His mother passed away. He was in the mother's womb. But when they bound his mother's body, the boy, the fetus is not bound, right? Was not bound. Then they can catch the baby as alive. That's why this also because of his karma, the headship knowledge in the future, he cannot pass through. This is called Jnana Vipariti. We embody with Jnana Vipariti. Okay, if we cut into pieces, Jnana Vipariti. Then 5, Samadhi Vipariti. If we cut the link, that means Samadhi Vipariti. Success by intervention of concentration. So in this case, the binding power of jhana. For example, Venerable Sariputta. When he was entering into his attainments, one of the Yakha trying to strike him, hit him. is really very strong because of the power of strike is very, very strong. But it doesn't happen to him. It's not harmful for him because his power of concentration. This is called samadhi with parity. Now we have another example like a Samavati. You know, her husband, the King Udena, wished to kill him, so he just used his bow and arrow trying to shoot her and her attendants, her maidens. But they are entering into Metta. That's why the arrow cannot hit them. This also can be considered as samadhi with parity. Then another one is the Venerable Sanjiva. He was entering into Nirodha Samapatti, the cessation attainment. Then the group of people come and set fire, what they call it, all the firewoods and hay, everything. They're trying to set fire, but he cannot burn him because he is entering into Nirodha Samapatti. This is samadhi with parity. So, okay, now we have to go to 6. The next one, 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐸, success of Noble One. Although we talk about Noble One, yeah, in this case, mostly we can talk about arhats. But although not arhats, there are some special practitioners, their mind power is very powerful. They have, you know, when you may remember 6 kinds of 𝐸𝐵𝐺, 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐬𝐚 𝐸𝐵𝐺, right? Sorry, 6 factor 𝐸𝐵𝐺, they mean 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐬𝐚 𝐸𝐵𝐺. Okay, if we summarize, although they see or they hear or they smell any desirable or undesirable things, their mind is unshaken. So they can change their mind easily. For example, like when they see undesirable objects, they can discern 4 elements on it. Then they may not have dosa or unpleasant mind in the unpleasant minds. Right? They may not have unpleasant minds. That is the success of Noble One. Not only that, when they see the desirable one also, they can discern Namarupas, then they can also contemplate as anicca dukkha anatta. They may not have attachment to desirable objects. This is called 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐸𝐸. A noble person may have this kind of quality. So that means they can change their mind easily in order that they may not have akusala minds too much. For about arhats, it's sure they don't have akusala mind anymore. Then 7. 𝐾𝐚 𝐕𝐢𝐸𝐺. Because of the 𝐾𝐚 𝐕𝐢𝐸𝐺, we also have this kind of the punctuation, or we cut it into the pieces, to the 2 words. Success produced by karma. This is also special karma power. For example, there are some special people, they have karma born power. Since they were born, they have special power. Right? So they can, for example, okay, there are some special kids, they can know their past lives. They can recall their past lives. This is produced by their karma. They are not practicing psychic power. They don't have full universality. This is called 𝐾𝐚 𝐕𝐢𝐸𝐺. 𝐾𝐚 𝐕𝐢𝐸𝐺. So, for example, like a divine beings, they don't need to practice psychic power. Karma produces power. Their karma has already given them to have this kind of special power to know people's minds. Then again, 8. Punya Vado 80. Success of meritorious. So in this case, by the power of kusala, there can be many different many different effects or many different results. For example, like a Jyotika, one of the rich men at the time of the Buddha. So he has his own house. Just come up from the earth. He didn't need to build a house because his past karma. Similarly, in the case of Jatila, right? So he can also get a special treasure. Then in the case of Mendaka also, special power, they can get special treasure by the power of their karma. So another one is, okay, you may know Gosaka, one of the millionaire from Kosambi. We also say his adopted father of Samavati. Anyway, Gosaka. Actually, his adopted father tried to kill him 7 times because his karma is very powerful. That's why he cannot kill. This is called Punyavato 80. That means if we have special punya to do for the good of community, we cannot pass very easily, right? Okay, now 9. Vichamaya 80. Vichamaya 80. Success through magic. I think you can know the one easily, right? So in this case, by reciting mantra and so forth, then this is called 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐸𝐸. So it can be any of magical power, right? So by reciting, or maybe by the power of many other ways, just use their magical power. This is called 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐸𝐸. 10. Tata samapayoga pachayati. So we can also say another way. Tata samapachaya 80 also. Samapayoga pachaya 80. We can also cut into 2 pieces like that. Anyway, success by exerting right efforts here and there. So it depends on our own efforts. For example, when we have thoughts of renunciation, then we can also overcome sensual desire. In this case, we must make mental efforts. If we make proper mental efforts, we can overcome wrong thoughts, sensual thoughts. This is by exerting efforts, right efforts. Then similarly, if we can practice very well, we can attain path and fruition knowledge. When we can attain hardship, we can eradicate, we can uproot all defilements. This is also by the power of efforts. At least in our daily life, not my daily life, it will be your daily life, right? For example, you have to work for earning, for surviving. So all the things come from your own efforts. This is also called Tata samapayoga pachayati. So, okay, we can understand all these things in brief now, as this is not the psychic power. This is just right natural power. Some of them are okay. For example, in the very beginning, we have already talked about Adhittaniti, right? Vikopaniti, that means like a multiplying bodies or transforming the body, like from old person to young person, for example, like transforming. Similarly, Manomayati, creating new person inside the body. These are about psychic power. For about Jnana Vipara and for number 4, right? Number 4, 5, 6, all other things are not psychic power. These are just natural power. Some of them are natural power, right? Some of them are man-made, human-made power. Okay, so these are the practice. Again, okay, we should continue next one about second power. Okay, the sequence of entering Manoma Yeti. We have already talked about 14 ways of training minds, right? Okay, here I just talk about Manoma Yeti, but I will explain many other things. For example, enter the foundation jhana. Yeah, when we talk about foundation jhana, it must be the fourth jhana. So according to the case, it can be different foundations. For example, when we are going to create, it should be 𝐸𝐴 as a foundation. Right? Okay. So now, after that too, you might run it. Then do parikrama. Parikrama means the preliminary walk. For example, in the case of Manoma Yeti, I always say Manoma Yeti means doing something inside our body. New person, right? Then we can also try to, our mind should incline to the how big, how small we can do as we like. The posture, it can be any posture. Then we can create a new person inside our body. After advancing the mind toward the object, then we can re-enter into the foundation jhana. That means the fourth jhana. Other 5, imagine from it. Then 6, there must be determination. The next slide. The next one. Determination as parikrama. So here I have already introduced the foundation jhana will take parikrama nimitta as objects, but the preliminary mind, parikrama citta, will take hundreds bodies and so on. That means in the case of Manoma Yeti, it can only one body inside, right, of our body. So it will take 100 colors and objects on not concepts objects. This is it. The object of second powers. Then after that, with determination will take 100 colors as object again. So then we have to know which objects it should be when we are doing parikrama and determination. That's why here I just do some elaboration. So in the case of Manoma Yeti, I have already said Manoma Yeti is a branch of 𝐸𝐴. I didn't write down anything about 𝐸𝐴 here. It will be too wide for you. That's why I didn't explain all the things in detail. It was very messy. For example, in the case of 𝐸𝐴, okay, I will introduce a few things. 𝐸𝐴 will cover like a flying on the sky, like a box. Also, it can be like a floating on the water, diving into the earth. All these things are called 𝐸𝐴 vijnana. Not only that, it can go through the wall or mountain without touching. For example, like a bhikkhu will go through the wall. For example, he will enter into 𝐸𝐴, then he will determine to make a hole in the wall. He will go into the area, then without touching the mountain or wall, he can go through the mountain. That kind of things can be done by 𝐸𝐴. Not only that, in the case of Venerable Chulapandaka, where we talk about 𝐸𝐴, right? About Vibhupaniti, sorry, Atitaniti. There I already mentioned hundreds or thousands of bhikkhus he creates by himself. So in his case, it will be different from Manoma Yeti. For example, when he was doing parikrama, his mind will advance into different ages of the bhikkhus. For example, some bhikkhu will be very young, some bhikkhu will be middle age, some bhikkhu will be old age. advance into different ages. And not only that, when he trying to do, there were different posture. Some of the bhikkhus are walking, some of the bhikkhus are standing, some bhikkhus are lying down, some bhikkhus are sitting. So that means many different postures. Not only that, even, okay, I will say very simple thing, hairstyle, okay? If we bhikkhu don't have hairstyle, that means shave or unshave, we can say like that. So, for example, he may do some different appearance of hair. So some of the people have already shaved hair, some people have not yet shaved hair, long hair, short hair, something like that. Then he may create many different bodies about hair. Again, about the robe, clothes. Then some of the people will have very bright, like yellow colors or maybe red color. Even in the text mentioned two color, yellow or red. Okay, when you're going to read Visuddhimagga, you can find two colors, yellow or red. So some of the color will be very bright, some of it not very bright. It depends on, right, how new or how old the cloth is. Anyway, he creates many different color based on red and yellow. Not only that, about the other activities. Okay, for example, like washing the robe, right? So, and the one people were washing the robe, another people were like boiling the bark for dyeing the robe. So another people were dyeing the robe, then another people were sew the robe. So many different activities about the robe. Similarly about the bowl. Somebody are baking the bowl, some are washing the bowl, right? Some are wiping the bowl, some bhikkhus are like drying the bowl, something like this. Many different activities, many different appearance. So you can imagine many different bodies, hundreds of bhikkhus, thousands of bhikkhus, these are determined to happen. So that's why here I just say it will take hundreds bodies and so forth, right? That means it can be 100 bodies. 100 bodies mean different ages, different appearances, also different activities, right? Different lifestyles, right? Some people will be like very rich, right? Some people will be very poor. It can be many different. So anyway, it will take many different things as objects. Then he can create many different bodies by the power of his 𝐸𝐸𝐸. So, okay, briefly, we can understand the 𝐸𝐸𝐸 is very wide, right? Many things we have explained, but it will be too wide. And just give some example. So, just different sequence. So remember only a few things. For example, foundation jhanas emerge from it. After that, preliminary, re-enter foundations emerge from it, determine, finish. These are the sequence of entering into any other psychic powers. So you have to remember this sequence, okay? So now we have to move to the next one. The next one is divine ear. So here, when we talk about divine ears, also it would be very similar to divine eyes. Okay, I have to explain a little bit more about divine ears. So in the case of divine eyes, we have to practice like a very bright light, like a 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 or 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 or 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸, any bright color. So one of them will be foundation. Entering into the foundations of psychic power, emerging from it. Then do preliminary works, adverting the mind towards it. Grow a sound such as lion roar in the forest, speaking sound of the people, yell and afar, like a bear ringings, and many other things. So that means in the very beginning, it will be very clear and very gross sounds. Even we can hear with our natural ear without using psychic power. After that, we have to advance our mind into very subtle sound. Okay, you can imagine very subtle sounds. Maybe for example, like many insects are crawling the leaves. It also produces a sound actually. Okay, when I live in Ceylon in the year 2021, many termites are eating leaves. We can hear the sound they are eating. Right? Then anyway, the main is the sounds of termites. Very subtle sounds that we can hear. Not only that, there are many bacteria, many other worms inside the body. So if we can listen the sounds of worms inside the body and so on, this is called preliminary work. So the main thing is, if we have all these preliminary works, if we are successful, we can determine from near to far. So that means, in the very beginning, we can determine only a few inches around us, or rather a few feet around us, determine, trying to expand little by little in order to listen many subtle sounds around us. If we are successful, we can also proceed listening many other sounds from near to the far. So these are the preliminary works of divine ear. Then after that, we have to re-enter in the foundation jhana. The next slide, 4. After that, imagine from it, determine to listen nearest one and afar in all directions one by one. So it will be a little bit different from previous one. Here we say near to far in all directions one by one. For example, now we will expand only east, right? In the beginning, only east from near to far, trying to listen. Similarly, in the west and south and north, we can listen all directions, especially in the 2 different corners. Many different, like 4 different corners, up and down. Maybe listen all the 10 directions one by one. So do one by one. If we can listen everything clearly, then we are successful. Now, if we cannot listen clearly, not successful. We do determine. So this is about divine ear. So reading minds. Okay, here I should also talk about reading minds, right? I didn't explain very much in detail. So the preliminary to psychic power is the divine eyes. So that means, so based on divine eyes, we can also proceed practicing reading other people's minds. So they are mentioned according to the color of the mind door. It mentioned very much in detail. There's also one statement. Without knowing the color of mind door, we can also know people's minds. For example, like if there's a red color in their mind door, this means it's a lustful minds. If a little bit black, it's a little bit like a little bit dark color, it can be like anger. Right? So if like a very strong confidence sada, it will be like a golden color, something like that. It mentions many different color according to the mental states. So okay, I have already said without knowing the color of mind also, the color of mind door also, they can know people's minds. They can read people's minds. It depends on how strong their psychic power. Okay, briefly, the system will be the same. Enter into the foundation jhana, imagine for it, then preliminary walk. So we have to try to read people's mind, right? Pay attention to other people's minds, re-enter, determine to know. So these are the system. Okay, another one, we have to proceed the next one. The next one is about recollection of past existences. So we can find this recollection of past existences in many suttas. As we talk about, okay, previous one like a reading people's minds. all these statements, all the things will be very similar to Chitta Nupassana. Saragan, Chitta, Udaraga, something like that. It will be different types of categories who are mentioned in the suttas. But here, in the case of recollection of past existences, this also we call Bhuvinivasandosati. Then it will be similar to previous preliminary work. So foundation jhana, right? So as we have already know what to do for the foundation, then okay, we can do foundation jhana after the emergence from it, then do preliminary things. So there's some statements we can find in Visuddhimagga. It's mentioned very much in detail. For example, okay, that means even ordinary people can see it. That means we just see like a backwards, descending backwards. Okay, now I'm sitting here, right? So a few minutes ago also, I'm sitting here. But a few hours ago, I'm not sitting here. So just descend, Namarupas of present moment, then descend backwards. A few minutes ago, a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago, a few hours ago, something like that, move backwards. Descend all the Namarupas. So then when we have strong concentration, because of preliminary concentrations, we can see it clearer and clearer. So in the same way, we can also proceed descending previous days, previous weeks, previous months, years, up to reverse moments of this life. In that reverse moment, present moment, there's a mentality and maturities. After that, recall the 10th moment of the past lives. For example, the first past life, for example, right? Also, there's also mentality, maturity. So these are preliminary. If we can know past, okay, we can do many times, again and again, until we are not successful. We can do many times. So these are the sequence we have to practice to know our past existences. Then there are some people, they also ask me, what's the difference between insight knowledge and psychic power? When we are discerning dependent origination, we also have to discern past lives. What's the difference? In the case of in the case of Vipassana, we can see Upadana Khanda. Be careful, Upadana Khanda, the clinging aggregate. We cannot see the aggregate like a Buddha. Buddha is not clinging aggregate, Buddha is only aggregates, right? Arhats, non-clinging, this is also non-clinging aggregate. So, also we cannot know something related to the body. Right? For example, in this body life, we cannot know the name, the lineage that much clearly. This is different from psychic power and insight knowledge. Anyway, so now in the case of Bhuvinivasandosati, recollection of past existences, now we must follow the sequence. Now we must understand one by one. After that, we can also see the past. With the next slide, the next one. Slides. Okay. So Nami, the remaining steps are same as previous practice. So that means we have to do foundation jhanas, emergence from it, do preliminary works, try to see all the past. After that, we enter into foundation, then determine to see all the rewards in the past. So if the practitioner cannot see it easily, steps keeps recollecting reverse again and again, without going back to previous mentality and maturities. This is the one thing, right? After that, try to see the death moment. So we can do many times to be successful. If we are successful, then actually they are mentioned many things about 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐚𝐠𝐠𝐚. For example, he may know the name of past lives, the lineage, the place of the past lives, how he survived, how he lived, what he eats. So he could know his lifetimes or the past lives by the power of 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐚, the recollection of past existences. Because these are the way to train ourselves to know the past. Okay, now we have to move the next practice. Diva Chaku, Diva Eye. Enter foundation jhana. So we have already talked about this divine eyes before, especially about Jidopariya, right? Similar to divine eyes. Also, the divine ear also similar to divine eyes, but here we have to use very bright lights. Okay, for example, in the case of Venerable Anuruddha, he has very strong psychic power. So what kind of light should we have? If we have very bright lights, right, like a day, like a night, or night also like a day. That means day or night, we must have the same light, the same brightness. When we can achieve that kind of light or brightness, we can practice divine ears or divine eyes. So we have already talked about the foundation jhana can be like a light kasina or white kasina or fire kasina as a bright. Then after that, we have to do preliminary works, abandon the mind to the colors of the things. Then when the light of kasina has been expanded from near to the far. So here, if the light is dim, re-enter the foundation jhana, expand the light again. So that means we have to expand the light from near to the far. As we have mentioned about divine ears, it should be the same. In the very beginning, we have to determine only a few inches around us. If we are successful, seeing many things clearly around us, then expand a little bit, a few inches, a few feet, and gradually expand little by little into all the 10 directions, one after another, in order to see very subtle objects, very fine visible objects. This is the binding power of divine eyes. So, I think this is the last part, right? Okay, so all other things will be similar. All other practice will be similar, right? We have many other practice, for example, the 𝐻𝐭𝐭𝐢𝐬𝐚, knowing death and the rebirth of living beings. It doesn't mean they can know the death moments, the consciousness moments, or the rebirth consciousness. Right? Actually, they just try to see, according to their past karma, then they will know where he was born. Although it was what object he passed away. So when dying, they can reach the person's mind. Then after that, they can also know their rebirths, the next life. So we also have that kind of 𝐻𝐭𝐿 and the power of psychic. This is also a kind of psychic power. Now we also have like anagatasa, knowing the future of living beings. For example, the Buddha. They can know the future of the living beings. For example, Dippankara Buddha gave definite prophecy to Gautama Buddha, knowing his future. In this case, we can say anagatasa jnana. Okay, so these are the psychic power based on 14 ways of training minds. So Actually, there are many other explanations of psychic power in 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐸, very much in detail about, especially about objects, present, past, future, many different things. Even 𝐴 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐸, many different stories, many things that happen to, right? That happen in Sri Lanka or that happen in Buddha's time. I mean, many stories, many different things mentioned. Also, it mentioned how to determine, how to do all the process, the sequence of entering or determination. So it will be very much in detail in 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐸𝐸, but it will be too messy for all the listeners. That's why I just summarize all the psychic power. Okay, so today we have to make some conclusions of samatha practice, right? So as we have already learned in 7 purification, the first purification is morality. We must purify our body and speech, body action or our speech. So if we can purify, this is called morality. The second steps, we have to purify our minds. So we have to learn many different ways of purification, many different ways to purify our minds. We have many different types of meditation subjects, 10 kasinas, 10 recollections, 10 asubas. Not only that, we have 4 sublime abidance, 4 immaterial jhanas, also 4 element meditation, also reversibility of the foods. We have practiced many different methods. We have already learned many different methods. Now, all of them will be useful for purification of our mind. So our mind is not ready-made, right? We're gonna have ready-made purification. We have to train ourselves. So for all other our belongings, we can share with our friends. But for our purification of the mind, we cannot share. We can share our knowledge. We can share our experience, but we cannot share the purification. We have to do by ourselves. So if we can purify, it just belongs to us. Nobody can steal our purity, our purifications. Nobody can cheat our purification. Nobody can take away our purification. Then nobody can rob our purification. This belongs to us. It's hidden inside our hearts. So the Buddha also said in Anguttara Nikaya, the mind originally is pure and bright. But because of the visitors, the defilements, external things, mind become defined and impure. So sometimes one also use Sakacita or Paracita, something like that. Sakacita means our mind. Paracita means other people's mind. That means when we have purity, this is ours. When we have impurity, it's not ours. It is already other person. So we have to protect ourselves from impurity. We must keep our purity. This is the way we have to train ourselves. Okay, so may you all be able to practice the 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering.
Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐻, what is the purpose of practicing psychic power? Will the practice of psychic power help one to attain liberation faster? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so that means if we have a psychic power, that means our concentration is stronger. We can see Namarupa clearer than other people, right? Because we have already mastered our minds. That's why it will be faster and easier compared to other practitioners. Okay.
That's question 2. Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐻, some beings are born with some special abilities without any practice of meditation or psychic power in this life. For example, abilities like knowing others' previous life, knowing about beings' future, knowing the mind of other beings. Is this due to their past practice of psychic power in previous lives? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so we can say, I have already talked about it in 10 types of iti, right? We got Kama Upakachiti, Kama Upakacha iti. It's produced by their Kama, right? We can also say clearly, we cannot say exactly, right? Because of past practice or anything, we don't know. They maybe in their past lives, they may have practice. They may determine to regain that kind of achievement in the future, maybe. Right? So we cannot, that kind of is not very clear. That's why I cannot say they practice psychic power or not, right? This one.
Question 3. Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐻, in this talk, 𝐸𝐸𝐻 did not explain about the way of practicing mind reading. Could 𝐸𝐸𝐻 please explain about mind reading practice? Second question. Some teachers are very sensitive on the student's mind. They seem to know what the students are thinking. Is this due to the ability of mind reading, or is there any other reasons that make the teacher's mind sensitive? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. The first one, right? Reading minds, not that much useful, right? That means, okay, anyway, if we can read other people's mind, we can also help people. Okay, this is the one thing. Anyway, the main thing is, it will be very, very wise when we talk about reading minds. Okay, you may have read Mahasatipatthana Sutta. They are mentioned Saragan Chitam, the mind that associate with lustful minds. Viragaragan Chitam, free from lust. Sarosan Chitam, with hatred. Vidadosan Chitam, that means the mind without hatred. Similarly, Sarosan, Samohan, Vidamohan, something like that. There are many, many different ways of, many different explanations of all the minds mentioned in the text. It will take very long time to explain. Also, not that much useful for practitioners here, right? So, okay, there will be, because of recording, okay, in the future, when you listen, you can also understand something about reading minds. But actually, it will be very messy for the listeners. Many, many things to explain. That's not only actually, not only about reading mind, also about eating read also, I don't explain very much. And skip many, many parts. Okay. So that means not that easy to explain. That's why I just briefly introduce reading minds. Okay, for about second question, right? They mentioned very sensitive on the student's minds. Okay, so that means sometimes because of experience. I myself, sometimes people misunderstand. I can read their minds. Actually, I cannot read their minds. Because of the way they speak, I can sense what happened to them. That's why I just talk to them, right? Then they misunderstand. I can read their mind. No, I cannot read their mind, actually. So in this case, it's come from experiences for some teacher. Maybe there are some teacher they can read other people's minds. I'm not sure. Okay.
Question 4. Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐻, in some tradition, if the devotee chants the mantra, they will be able to get the psychic power abilities of their guardian gods. Is it possible that psychic power can be passed from the guardian gods to the devotee? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, in this case, I'm not that much expert, right? In this kind of case, but I have already explained about 1080. There's called 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐻𝐸, 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐻𝐸. By chanting tantra or mantra or something like that, they can get special power, some kind of power, right? So I'm not sure what kind of power they have. Maybe they got some power from their guardian gods. I'm not sure. Okay. This one.
Question 5. Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐻, to be successful in the 14 ways practice, what kind of prerequisites a meditator need to possess? If a meditator does not practice 14 ways properly, will it affect his concentration or make his concentration drop or lost? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so Purification it will be too wide, right? So that means at least we must have attained 8 attainments with 8 kasinas. These are very clear, right? The main thing is to attain jhana is not that easy. So that means attaining jhana is a Purification. Attaining 8 attainment is a Purification. Okay, this is the one thing. But for about, right? The second, if meditator doesn't know practice 14 ways properly, like this one. So it depends on his mental conditions. For example, sometimes, although they are practicing 14 ways, if their mind is not that much good, they can get lost everything. For example, Venerable Devadatta. He has attained psychic power. Even Adivida Abhignana, very powerful psychic power. But his mind is not really very good. Evil thoughts is spoiling his psychic power. He cannot enter into any attainment. He can lose everything. So here, practicing 14 ways or not practicing 40 ways is not that problem. The main thing is your mind. For example, after practicing 14 ways, you may be proud of your ability. You may be arrogant. So you may expect more than you can do. You will get lost everything, right? It depends on defilements. So that means if you can overcome the defilements, then you can maintain your concentration. If very strong defilements arises in your thought process, you will get lost. Okay, next one.
Question 6. Dear Sayadaw, during this time, are the practice of all the psychic power possible for a meditator? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, as long as there's the way mentioned in the text, right? It's possible to attain all the psychic powers. But it's not that easy, right? That's why we're gonna see many people are successful.
Question 7. Dear Sayadaw, if a meditator uses his psychic power to do fortune telling for many people, will he lose his psychic power? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, that kind of thing is a little strange, right? Actually, okay, for all the bhikkhus, we have many rule and regulations about psychic power. And we must not talk to lay devotees. I have attained that kind of psychic power. We don't do say like that, right? Of course, if we don't have attained, we can say we don't attain, right? This is we must be honest. So that kind of thing is not really very good for bhikkhus, especially for ordained persons. But for lay devotees, also, of course, they are misusing their ability, right? Actually, psychic power can be for foundations or vipassana or any other things. Okay, next one.
Question 8. Dear Sayadaw, is there any reason for the arrangement of the 14 ways practice, moving from difficult method to easy method? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, we don't know why this kind of arrangement come, right? We just learn from the text. That's why I don't know why it's happened like this. Okay, we cannot say easy to we cannot say easy to difficult or difficult to easy. In the very beginning, it's easy. Gradually, in the middle, around 9, right? In the 9th, then is the most difficult part. Okay, now this one. Idawata cha amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sambati siriya idam me nyatinam hotu sukhita hundu nyatiyo idam me nyatinam hotu sukhita hundu nyatiyo idam me nyatinam hotu Sukhita hontu nyatayo idhamme punyam asavakaya waham hotu idhamme punyam nibbanasa pachayo hotu mama punya bhagam savasatanam bhajemi te sabbe me samam punya bhagam lavantu sadhu sadhu sadhu.